Hello, hello, hello. So, Friday night BecFlix. That's what we're calling our Friday nights. Thank you to a very good friend, Chase, for suggesting that one. So you have Astrid this week. So this character is an original character. It's not from any comic, any movie. And we named her Astrid. So I'm running out of cosplay characters to do on Friday night BecFlix. So you guys are going to have to start giving me some suggestions. Luckily, we are heading closer to October, which means I can start doing Halloween themed makeup and characters. Hi babe, hi Rachel, hi Nat. So yeah, we have now decided to call our Friday night shows BecFlix, since everybody seems to be boycotting Netflix because of the program Cuties. You look awesome, thank you. The program Cuties, admittedly I've not watched it, so I cannot pass my personal judgment or opinion on that. However, I thought, well, if everybody's cancelling Netflix, then I might as well step into that gap with BecFlix. So I have not had any questions sent in, so we're going to just roll with it. So again, as with every Friday night, you can ask me absolutely anything. It does not have to be mental health related. It does not have to be anything educational. You can literally ask anything. You have me for an hour, so ask questions. I love answering them, by the way, as well. Makes it less awkward. Right, let's get some people added on here. So the first one I wanted to bring up, if you watched my post earlier, I still cannot believe I posted a picture of my belly on Facebook. But do you know what? It was so liberating doing that and just not caring. I'm a dummy for bleaching. What you like? Hi Paige. It's fine, it grows back out. Or you can just shove a wig on. So yeah, I really am quite surprised that I posted that this morning, and actually the response and feedback that I've had from that has been absolutely amazing. So it just goes to show I'm connected with some truly awesome people. So anybody who did comment on it, who liked it, thank you, I really appreciate it. But one of the things that I posted earlier, I don't know if anybody spotted it, I mentioned something called secondary gain, and I wanted to quickly discuss that before anybody drops a question in the comments. I'm hoping some of you guys actually do. Secondary gain is something where we are holding on to things that are just not serving us. So they're actually keeping us stuck. So you are gorgeous. That belly pic just shows off. Ah, behave. So yeah, it's a secondary gain. Basically means that somebody is holding on to something that they know is not healthy, they know isn't serving them, they know is really keeping them stuck in life from moving forward, from creating the change that will be far more beneficial and healthier for them. So how does it become a secondary gain? It becomes a secondary gain because it's safe, because that person knows what to expect, they know about everything's in front of them, they're in control of that. But to stretch that comfort zone and step out of it and start taking progress steps towards changing, towards the way we speak to ourselves, we get so used to our habits and beliefs and self-talk and all the rest of it in life, that it becomes safe, because we know what to expect, we know what emotions to expect from those habits, from those behaviours, through not doing things that we know would be really good for us, and it's all a bid to keep us really safe. So the secondary gain is that safety feeling, because stepping out of those comfort zones, stretching them, doing things that you know is really going to be tough because it's against everything that you know, and habits take time of redoing things, that stuff is really scary. Changing your life, changing the way you speak to yourselves, building up your confidence can be really scary because it's a fear of the unknown. And if anybody of you seen the t-shirt that I got last month that literally says on the front of it, into the unknown, it doesn't actually have to be scary. you can flip that into feeling quite excited and staying curious as to, you know, I wonder what I'll experience tomorrow. I wonder what I'll be able to go and do. I wonder what I could try out. I wonder what I could learn. And that's what going into the unknown means. It's flipping that fear of the unknown into an excitement and a curiosity. So actually what secondary gain is people actually gain the feeling of comfort, of reassurance, of certainty. And it's that secondary gain, so they hold on to it when actually it is causing more pain than good. So that's secondary gain, and it is very, very common with the OCD community, those living with anxiety. We tend to have this overwhelming need to be in control of everything, to know what's coming, to know what to expect. So we cannot cope with the uncertainty of not knowing what we're going to expect, what the day ahead has in store for us, and when it gets thrown off balance, it's really, really tough, it's really distressing, and the anxiety is really quite unbearable. So it's much better, or we think it's much better, to stay in control of everything, and that's part of what builds up the compulsions. So compulsions typically are coping, checking and control behaviours. So they fall into 3 categories. That doesn't just relate to the OCD communities, by the way. That relates to anybody that struggles with heightened levels of anxiety. They engage in things that will help them cope with the situation, that will help them check, regardless of whether that's their emotions, whether they can predict an outcome, and also control. So if somebody with really heightened anxiety over time is able to control what they do, control their environment, so you might find a lot of people with heightened anxiety do stay at home a lot, and there's a reason for that, because anxiety hijacks everything. Have a think about this for a minute. When you feel ill, when you hurt yourself, when you feel stressed, if you have an argument, no matter what it is, think of any negative or situation where you've just not felt good, regardless of what it is. Where do you always want to go? Put it in the comments. Even if you're on the replay, put it in the comments. Where do you always want? Where's the one place that you want to go when you feel scared, when you feel physically unwell, when you feel unwell, when you feel unbalanced, when you feel frightened? No matter what the situation, if you have a fallout with a friend, or you know, something, you have an accident or you fall over or something, where's the one place that you want to go? Hi Heather. Where's the first place you think of where you want to go and feel safe and know that that's your own environment and you can feel comforted with that and you can control it? It's home. Exactly, got it in one, Chrissy. So that's how anxiety kind of will hijack the moment you set foot out the door. Everything, they're really out of date, really unhealthy coping. Hi Matt. Yeah, but your bed, home, the one place where you feel comfort and security and like you are in control of your environment, your situation, how you feel. So anxiety, and especially within the OCD communities as well, is that anxiety hijacks every decision that we're making, so that instinctively we want to go home, because home we can feel in control. Outside of the home we don't. So can you see how that secondary gain actually happens? We feel actually it's better to be at home. Actually no, we're kind of accommodating anxiety and fear. Anxiety is actually supposed to be there, by the way. It's a natural normal functioning of the brain. It just gets overexcited. Anxiety is there from, I did a video about this in the OCD community. If you are somebody that you suspect need a formal diagnosis of OCD, or you have one, have a look for the group. It's in my post. Thanks Roz. Friday night BecFlix every week. I'm not sure what character's coming next week because I've done a few already. But yeah, part of the video that I posted in the group for everybody was why anxiety was kind of it gives it a really good explanation of what anxiety is actually there for. So think back to cavemen times when there's dinosaurs and big saber-toothed tigers, and they're all like giant size compared to, I think they've actually shrunk over the centuries. The only things a caveman really had at that point was to stand and fight or to run away and hide so that they didn't get eaten. And the anxiety there would alert them to that, and then the adrenaline would kick in, and either it would prepare the body for running away, so endurance, pumping blood around faster, so that when you're experiencing higher levels of anxiety, hi Mike, this is why your heart beats faster, you sweat more, your muscles feel really tense, like you're about to do something, you're like wound tight like a coiled spring. That's the adrenaline effect in your body. It's shutting off. So if you feel quite cold and you're sweating, so sweating there's two reasons for that when you're in fight or flight. So the first one is actually to cool your body down. So if you are running away or standing and fighting, you can imagine you're going to get very warm very quickly. So one reason for that is you will sweat, so it can cool you down. The second one is the adrenaline, the fight or flight, will actually work to get rid of unnecessary excess weight in the body. So it will sweat. It's also another reason why you find if you have tummy upset, toilet troubles, when you are experiencing heightened levels of anxiety or an anxiety attack where you feel you need to go to the toilet really quickly, it's the body's way of getting rid of excess weight so that you can stand and fight or run away. Thanks, Sue. So that anxiety is actually supposed to be there. It's protecting us. It alerts us to actual dangers and threats. What's happened over generations and centuries is that anxiety response has become really overexcited, and it kicks off with a mere thought. A thought really isn't anything. It's not really good or bad. It's the response to it that generates that rush of anxiety. So think of a jump scare, or a scary movie where you're not expecting something, it makes you jump and you feel that rush. That's the anxiety kicking in. That's the fight or flight response kicking in there. But because you're watching a horror movie, you can actually rationalise that. You're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but I know it's a movie. So the brain takes that and it thinks, right, I can shut off that anxiety now, we start to calm down. Same with the jump scare. If a friend says boo behind your back, instantly you feel that rush of anxiety. Or sometimes it feels like all the blood drains out of your face. If somebody jumps out on you and shouts boo, it makes you jump. And then when you realise where that sound's come from, and you realise that it's the friend from behind you, and that actually you are safe, there's no threat, there's no danger, you instantly rationalise that, and it shuts off that anxiety response, and you start to calm down. When it comes to anxious thoughts and overthinking and the kind of stuff that goes off in your head, and the anxiety is getting overexcited about that, that's where it becomes problematic. Now, everybody, as we've discussed gosh knows how many times on all of these lives, that intrusive thoughts are actually normal, regardless of whether you have OCD or not. Everybody has thoughts. Everybody's got a brain, and they can be weird, they can be awesome, they can be disturbing, they can be sickening, they can be really disgusting. Having those random thoughts when your mind's just pondering and wandering, you think, why would you think that? And you brush it off. For somebody with OCD, it's not even the compulsions that create it, it's the reaction that we're having to those thoughts. It's not wanting to own the fact that we have a brain that thinks, and we try and get rid of it, but we can't, because it's part of the brain's function. That's where it becomes a problem, where we're constantly fighting against ourselves. So now I've gone through that, what the anxiety response is, what secondary gain is. Does anybody at all have any questions? I would really not want to spend an entire hour with you guys rambling away. So if there's anything anybody wants to know, anybody wants to ask me, go ahead, now is your chance. Hi, Sarah. Come on, Heather and Chrissy, get some like questions asked. I really needed to do a poll for Fridays, or decided on an actual topic ahead of time, so I don't look like some strange woodland fairy type person on the pop again, Mrs. It's pop, it's not alcohol. I did actually say last time, hi Emma, I did actually say last time I would explain why I didn't drink alcohol and why I haven't drunk for so long. And it comes down to two things. So the first one is childhood trauma. So usually she's wonderful, thank you. Typically the stuff that we are struggling with in life as adults, more often than not, connects to an earlier childhood experience or trauma. So the first one for me was a person that was in my life. Where am I from? My mum. I should have used Heather's for that one. Damn. I'm not as fast as Heather. So yeah, somebody that was not an actual parent, she was the partner of a parent, was a really bad alcoholic. She was not the very nicest of people. I know, I wish I'd have said that one, that'd have been so much funnier. She was not a very nice person, and some of my experiences with the childhood trauma and childhood abuse did come from this particular person. So from a very early age, she showed me what the effects of alcohol was and what alcohol did to a person. So that belief was already kind of embedded in my mind, even when I got to adulthood, that I did not like what people were capable of when they were under the influence of alcohol. And I didn't like that. I never wanted to put myself in a position where I could be capable of doing such things. So I actually decided that I didn't want to drink because I didn't like it, and I didn't like being out of control. I didn't like the memory of what alcohol does, what alcohol can potentially do to someone. It's only later in my adult years that I actually realised that stuff that was going on for her was already underneath the surface. Alcohol just obviously brought that out, brought the worst parts of her out. So I was able to realise that alcohol is not an enemy, it's not something to be afraid of, and that, you know, you can drink sensibly, you can drink in moderation. It doesn't actually, just because one person engaged in really abusive, harmful behaviours under the influence, it didn't mean that everybody did. However, I also developed emetophobia. For those that don't know, it's a fear of vomiting. That comes from many accidents, head traumas. I'm not crazy, guys. A couple of head traumas that left me with concussion, and really bad sickness. And I've had 2 bouts of food poisoning, and that in itself, food poisoning, is very traumatic. So all of those experiences, I developed a real fear of vomiting and sickness. So wintertime is not great for me. When it comes to norovirus and things, I'm like constantly with the hand gel. Heather will play testament to that one. Don't think she's ever seen me move so fast away from a child that vomited on the table. I literally scaled the tables. So another reason why I don't drink is because obviously the couple of times that I have, and I've got tipsy, unfortunately, I've had a vomiting episode, so it kind of puts me off. Food poisoning is the worst. I had it off prawns once. Hi Rosie. Oh god, I hate it. I've had food poisoning like 3 times from chicken from takeaways, and it's not very nice. It's horrific. So I am actually really funny about cooking chicken. I will actually slightly overcook it just to be on the safe side, which I probably need to work on, and I do need to work on the emetophobia. However, now that I kind of managed through and live within remission from OCD, and it barely has any impact on my day-to-day life or experiences, my poor child, I can probably start looking at those phobias, because the best advice that I ever give anybody is always to start small. If you want to implement change and you've been used to living a certain way, or used to engaging in certain behaviours that really aren't helpful, hi Michaela, then it can be really tough to face such a big change. It's really, really challenging, and actually by putting that expectation on yourself, you're setting the bar so high that actually that pressure is probably going to overwhelm you. So actually you will start to feel fearful of going for it, and that's where the secondary gain comes in. So it's always best to start small, taking really small steps. And actually, when you think about it, when you set yourself a really big goal, like, I mean an immense goal, you have to break that down. You can't, I could say to myself, the biggest goal that I have is to be driving and have I'm gonna need a minibus, driving a minibus and a 4-bedroom house, 5-bedroom, so I can have an office. I ain't being greedy. I'm not gonna be a greedy bitch. I want a 5-bedroom house. But cool, that's a great goal. However, if I don't know how I'm going to get there, how am I going to take the steps to reach it? And that's where we break it down and we start small and we start taking those little steps. Because when you look at how people get to a big goal, they don't just take one giant leap and get there and it happens like that. They have to do a series of different steps to get them there. And yes, there's a speed bump in the way, or they take a wrong turn, or they make a decision that doesn't work out. Fine, you keep at it, but you do it in such small steps so that each one you feel like you're accomplishing something. It builds your confidence up, it builds your, like you have with this business. Exactly. I mean, it's taken me 3 years, but yeah, it builds your confidence up, but it also builds your resilience up at the same time. So it means when you do hit a bump in the road, or you feel like, say, you challenge yourself, say tomorrow, one of you guys watching this, either live or replay, that you decide you want to do something, you want to go out there and do something that you've been putting off or you've been too afraid to do, but tomorrow's the day you're going to go do it. Awesome. You get to the front door and you feel the anxiety, you feel fear. What do? You're going to feel like running back in and shutting those curtains and shutting yourself away for the day. That small step is literally just making that decision. That's your first small step. You made the decision to make yourself a priority. The second one would be you was actually willing to go for it. That's your second step. Your third one is you can set foot out of that front door tomorrow and you can have that intention to go and start making those small changes, start working towards what it is that you want to achieve for tomorrow. Even though anxiety is telling you, no, this is not what we're used to, what are you doing? Get back inside. It feels like that overprotective parent or that overprotective best friend that's saying, no, you can't do that, that's not safe. It's because it's not what you're used to doing. Your brain gets so stuck in its pattern of the things that you've been doing that when you start to do the opposite thing, it feels like there's so much resistance, and that all of those habits that normally keep you safe are trying to pull you back in. So it's almost like imagine an elastic band. You're trying to pull this elastic band while the resistance and the habits that have been serving you for so long are trying to pull you back in. But actually, if you break it down into small steps, each small step you take, you can celebrate it. Each small step you take, you think, yes, I did it, I managed it. That will give you such a confidence boost and motivate you to want to take the next step, because you'll feel rewarded and you'll get a lovely dopamine hit, which feels epic, by the way. If you don't know what dopamine is the chemical that helps you feel good when you're in the gym and when you hear music. So when you've got great music on, you want to dance about, it lifts your spirits up, that's dopamine, otherwise known as the reward hormone. So yeah, each small step, and you celebrate each small step that you achieve, you get a dopamine hit, it boosts your confidence up, it helps you feel, yeah, I've got this, let's get this shit done. And it does, and it feels much more accomplishable than writing such a huge goal down and setting the bar so high where you put that much pressure on yourself. It has the opposite effect. And then because you have such an overwhelming experience, because you set the bar so high, it actually puts you off wanting to create change again. It puts you off wanting to go at things again. And actually you start thinking, see, I couldn't do it, so I'm never going to attempt it again because I don't want to feel like that again, and you stay stuck. So that is my little bit of guidance and advice there. If there was something, so is there something anybody's going to have the intention of doing tomorrow and give it their best? Because the best is all that you can do, and your best is good enough. So is there something that anybody's going to give it a go tomorrow and step out of that comfort zone and stretch it a little bit? Because, you know, growth never actually happens, change never actually happens within your comfort zones. You've got to stretch those out. So what could people be doing? What have you been putting off that maybe you could take some steps towards doing tomorrow? Because tonight is like too late. I feel like it's so rude going off camera to put my cup down. We're so quiet tonight. Where's my usuals? Let's see if we can get them in. Oh, we invited Chase. Did you hear Ivor then? And a body. See, we're only 25 tonight. I've been on half an hour and it's so quiet. What are you all doing? You are making the most of the pubs before lockdown comes back in again. Jeez, I haven't even been watching the news. Like, who needs the news when you can watch Facebook instead? Watching all the comments that and the statuses and stuff. It's like, this is the very reason I don't watch the news. Not tomorrow, but I got Jay to bed with no meltdown. Awesome. Tell him when he gets up in the morning that I'm very, very proud of him. I'm still here, babe. I have to be honest, I don't know what I plan to do tomorrow. The rut I'm in can't be sorted overnight. No, it can. If you think that it's going to take time, you know, most things they're not going to change the way you want them overnight. It just takes, keep going at it and keep taking. Hi, Ian. Or shall I say Bob? But if it is such a challenge thing, something is really challenging for you right now, babes, absolutely don't put the pressure on to sort that overnight. I actually meant like something small, like a small goal that you wanted to accomplish. I'll tell you a little story from when I was pregnant with Rory. So he's 3 now. Gosh. I was in a really big rut when I was pregnant with Rory. I'd say, how far along would I have been? So I fell pregnant with Rory in the October. So by the January, February, I was really struggling with my mental health. It wasn't so much OCD, it was just really low mood, feeling really crappy. And I was really getting stuck in a rut. I wasn't going out, I wasn't doing anything. I was just binge watching Netflix, not really getting dressed or doing anything. And me and a really close friend decided to hold each other accountable and motivate each other each day. And we would set each other little challenges through Messenger, and we would have to send photo proof of each other, selfies of each other, to say, you know, that's task 1 accomplished. And it would be stuff like brushed my hair. So if we brushed our hair, we would take a photo. I had much longer hair back then. If we brushed our hair, we would take a selfie, we would send it each other. Next one would be to put a little bit of makeup on, or it might be to get dressed or get bathed and showered. I know it might sound gross to some people if you're watching on the replay or you're still on live. Sometimes when your emotional and mental and physical health is really taking a dip, your whole self-care stuff really goes out the window. And I ain't ashamed to say, when I've been really in the pits, I haven't bothered. I've stayed in my pyjamas. I haven't brushed my hair. it's been matted, you know, it's not been great at times in the past. Even to the point I love this, sorry. Even to the point my dad's ex-partner used to come round and put some music on and help motivate me to get the housework done. Because even that seemed like an impossible task for me to do. So I'm really grateful for, you know, the people that I've had around me. But me and this particular friend would literally just set each other little mini tasks each day. We got dressed, if we put makeup on, if we brushed our hair, if we went to the shop. We used to meet up for coffee on certain days and just start up having a routine and just getting back out in life instead of keeping ourselves shut away. Or it might have even been to open the curtains, but we would have to take photographic proof and send it to each other. So we wouldn't post it on Facebook, we would just send it to each other, because when she sent it me, I felt proud of her, but it was also like, shit, she's one step ahead. Oh crap, I'm losing the game. And it made it really, really fun, and it also kept us both accountable for taking those steps, because sometimes when you haven't got that positive accountability in making progress and doing things that are in a positive way to help change the situation and how you're feeling, it almost becomes kind of, what's the point? When we haven't got somebody saying, you know, come on, you know, to give you a bit of a nice how a nice kick up the bum can be nice, I don't know, but, you know, giving you an old boot up the backside and say, come on, you've got this, let's get ourselves dressed, get you pumped up. You know, when you haven't got that, it's really tough to implement any kind of steps like that. So in response to your comment, Chrissy, saying, you know, you don't know, you know, you're in a rut that can't be sorted overnight. Maybe not, but that doesn't mean it can't change, and it doesn't mean that you can't start taking some smaller steps, break them right down into the most minute little steps so that you feel like you're at least accomplishing something. Because if you really do pay attention to my statuses, guys, you'll see that I quoted Tony Robbins in one of my posts. If you want to change your state, you've got to move your feet, you've got to get your body moving, because actually there is evidence behind it, by the way. You can go check it out. If you start procrastinating, your body's physiology on the inside is used to being a certain way, but actually even just by getting up and moving around, your physiology in your body starts changing. So if you do want to change your state, start looking at what things you could start doing for yourself, even the smallest little things that'll give you a positive win, because it's those wins that'll help you to feel a bit better. And then each day that you're doing that and you're building those little wins up and you reflect back on them, you'll get to a point where it might be next week, next month, 6 months down the line. You can take a step back and you can look and you can see all of those little steps that you made. And sometimes it's really easy to pass off those small steps because you think, nah, it's not even that much of a step, so why bother? Nobody else would celebrate that, nobody else would be really bothered, you know, there's no point. But actually it's important to you. Yeah, the whole house work and getting dressed has not happened for a little while. I used to do the housework every day, bath and shower every day, and now it's just like I can't be asked. Message me after, sweet pea. We'll have a chat. Honestly, message me afterwards, because sometimes even thinking about doing the things that we used to do, it brings a level of feeling ashamed of yourself and a level of guilt and a level of feeling embarrassed and beating yourself up for it and thinking, you know, when you start thinking of what you used to be like and now you're not, you get very you become really self-critical. But you know yourself, it doesn't have to stay that way. It really doesn't. So even if we have to do what me and my friend did, we will do that every day. I will be in your inbox every morning like a really annoying 365-day Christmas elf. I will say, you know, I'll be there. So if that's what it takes. Anyone else got a question? Have we still got on live? Don't worry, I haven't got COVID. Should have made that joke. Sorry. The amount, has anybody actually been out in a town shopping or in a supermarket or anything like that, and you've had to sneeze or you've had to cough and everybody's head whips around and like stares at you? It's like, calm down, I don't have COVID. How can I turn down you being in my inbox every day? There you go. Hey, not everybody has that privilege, you know. I dare say you'll be the envy of some people that like to slide into my DMs after my lives, which is totally inappropriate. You'll be the envy of them all. Anybody got anything else they want to ask? Anything else they want to know about? I am an open book, so you can ask me absolutely anything within reason. Just don't ask inappropriate stuff, because the answer will be no. Every time I put my mask on and go to a shop, I want to go. Oh God, done. It was, we was in York yesterday. I don't even get her in my inbox every day, and she's one of my best mates. You're a best mate though. No, I'm only kidding. I will have to start making more of an effort. I apologise. Haha, she's my yeah, let's not have an argument on Facebook Live. We can be a throuple. I'll do the same for you too, Heather. I'll be in your inbox every day. But yeah, those of you that might have seen my stories yesterday, you'll have seen I took my eldest to York. And actually I wanted to talk about it earlier, was just how broad the spectrum of symptoms are when it comes to experiencing anxiety and the things that can actually go off physically in your body. So it's not just about the palpitations, not being able to breathe, your chest feeling tight, your muscles feeling really tense and wound up, the headache, the feeling dizzy, the feeling sick, you know, the tummy upset, the toilet troubles. There's so many different ways, and I didn't actually consider that. So I actually was supposed to have gone for an MRI scan yesterday, and it was decided we weren't going to do that. We weren't going to put him through an MRI. Somebody just called me Vicky. Hang on, I will reply to that in a minute. So yeah, he was supposed to go for an MRI, and we decided that that wasn't the best way forward to put him through that, because we were sat there exploring with the doctor that actually each time Ashley had experienced this particular episode that he was having was coming after a period where we'd been really distressed, really anxious, really upset. And we actually, as I sat and thought about it, I was like, wow, I'm like, this is what's happening with him, and the episodes that he's having are a direct result of all of those chemicals rushing around in the body. So all of that adrenaline, all of that cortisol, and it actually comes down to the fact that he doesn't have an optimal stress management system. So stress management system isn't just the stress that you and I would think of or refer to when we're feeling stressed. It's the stress that your internal system is put under, whether that's your mind or your body. It's still an internal stress, and my eldest doesn't work at the level it could. That doesn't mean it won't, but at the moment it doesn't. And what was happening is these episodes were occurring because, you know, there was too much of these chemicals going off in his body. And I was like, wow, I never even thought that could have been created from anxiety too. So physical illness, joint pains, muscle pains, sprains, migraines, rashes, by the way, is another one that can appear. There's hair loss, there's dry mouth, there's cold sores, you name it. Anxiety can cause so much. And sometimes when we're experiencing it as well, we think we feel, you know, that we see or we feel the physical after effects of the anxiety that we almost think that there's something wrong with us physically. So we go to the doctors and we don't, you know, it creates all of that unknown. Again, that uncertainty, what's causing it? I must be really ill. You know, I'm going to the doctor and they're saying that they can't find anything wrong with me, and you get frustrated when actually sometimes anxiety itself, having higher levels of anxiety and finding it really difficult to regulate and bring those levels down, can cause a wide range of things that go off of your body physically. So I wasn't shocked or surprised, I was just was like fascinated. Hi Lauren, hi Yasmin. I was just so fascinated that the episodes that was happening with Ashley was actually a direct result of the anxiety. And we know that I'm never going to say 100% certain because you can't be in life, but I can say with almost absolute certainty that we know this is a direct result a direct result of the anxiety that he's been experiencing, because each episode that he's had, something's happened previously, whether that was bullying in school, whether that was fallouts with his friends, you know, because he doesn't have those skills to be able to manage that anxiety, he doesn't know how to bring it down. So going forward, and it's a great tip for anybody on the replay, or if you're watching live and you've got a child that struggles with managing extreme levels of anxiety, me and Ashley are going to put together some really helpful tools that he can put in place, whether that's some phrases, some affirmations, a breathing technique, guided meditation, anything like that, because he has an MP3 player. So I'm going to re-record the guided mindful meditation. By the way, if you have not joined the waitlist for the OCD Warriors Way membership, go do that. I'll put the links in the comments, because there is a free there's a free meditation audio on there waiting just for you. So I'm going to re-record it for Ashley, which is a more child friendly version, and we're going to put it on his MP3 player and on his phone. It's going to be a 5-minute one, so that anytime he's not at home, he's not with me, and he's in school, he can plug his headphones in, he can give it a listen, he can help bring that calmness back, regulate his breathing, and actually get him listening to my voice as well is going to be really soothing and comforting for him, because obviously I'm his mum, I'm his safe place, home is his safe place, and that he'll instantly connect with that, and it'll provide some comfort for him. So we're going to put together like a little toolkit that he can take into school next week, and it's all going to be laminated. The teachers have been notified ahead of time, so I can't wait to see how he implements those, especially because he does have tough times in school too, and how much that's going to benefit him in the long run. So there are things that we can do. It's just about trial and error. Well, I say trial and error, nothing's ever an error, we learn from it. I think it's about exploring things, trialing things, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, fine, go and look for something else. There's always something out there that suits particular types of personalities, the way you are during day to day, if you're introvert, if you're extrovert, if you're a busy person, if you're not a busy person. There's going to be something out there for everybody, and it's a case of just testing everything, giving yourself a chance, test everything out, find out what it is that works really well for you, and you build your unique set of tools. Heather says, I suffered with migraines and every other kind of headache so much, and I know it's anxiety causing them. From being 13, doctors put it down to school and stress, told me I would grow out of it, never happened, and now I'm medicated finally. Yeah, and that's fine. You know, I said to somebody yesterday about medication. Medication's not a bad thing to be on. It's not a sign of weakness, it's not anything to be ashamed of, because we wouldn't be ashamed if it was, say, diabetes, where we needed lifelong medication. We wouldn't deny ourselves that. And the way I see it is, we're taking medication, I'm not anymore, but like such as yourself, Heather, you're taking medication for anxiety. Anxiety is part of your brain is part of your body, so it's a physical thing in your body. So why have we created this divide between taking medication for a physical illness when our brain is actually a physical thing. It's a part of our body, so why wouldn't we want to look after it? And do you know what? If medication is the difference between being able to live life and enjoy it to your full ability and capability, and the other option is to not be on medication and really struggle through and have migraines and all the rest of it and feel like you're just simply existing in it, then there isn't really a compromise there. Not for me anyway. Another example was the medication that I was on a few years ago. Not a few years, yeah, it would be. Oh my god, that's flown by. A few years ago, Heather will confirm this one. I went from around 9 stone 8 because I'd lost a heck of a lot of weight. The anxiety attacks I was experiencing and the distress, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, so I lost a lot of weight. I, within a couple of months, shot up from around 9 stone 8, 9 stone 9, right up to just under 15 stone. Very, very quickly. At first I wasn't happy about it, but I also knew that medication for me, I didn't want to be on lifelong. I did have a goal of getting myself well. I stayed motivated, I got the therapy, I worked through that with a view to coming off the medication. If I came off and it, I didn't manage very well, then I was happy to go back on them. But I wanted to give myself a chance to see whether I could manage OCD with what I'd learned in therapy and the tools and the strategies that I'd put in place. And luckily it did work, and I'm very grateful. But at that time, in the beginning, I was really upset with how much weight I had piled on. And in fact, Heather will tell you too that I was going to the gym 2-3 times a week for 2-3 hours at a time, and the weight was still not shifting. I was dieting, I was cutting my meals down, portion sizes. It wasn't helping. So I just thought, you know what, it's a small price to pay for feeling mentally well, and for giving myself the best chance, because it meant while I'm sorting that out, that's my priority right now. I could lose the weight if and when I came off the medication, and thankfully once I stopped taking it, the weight did come off. But sometimes it's making the right choice that's for you, instead of seeing that medication isn't good to be on, that it's a sign of weakness, because it really isn't. Yes, pills don't teach skills, but it can balance out those chemicals that can help you cope a little bit better with each day. But I will always stand firm in my belief that pills will not teach the skills to implement the changes that you want to see in life. That comes through therapy, that comes through having a look at what is not helpful in life for you, having a look at what's not really serving you, what's not getting you to the place that you want to be, and having a look at what steps you can take yourself to change that. And the medication complements it and complements any therapy that you may get, regardless. I have meds for the migraines too. Bonus, it helps the fibre. There you go. So it's always about looking at the pros and cons. If the benefits of being on medication outweighs the cons of it, so if being on medication helps you to get through each day, I'm giggling again, and get through it and helps you to live life rather than exist in it, but being off them, you struggle like crazy and days are just like a dark hole, you don't want to go out, no nothing, then which would you rather have? Because I know which one I'd rather take. I will get off it. I've never needed it for the anxiety before. I've always managed, but right now things are just in a place where I need them to help me manage. And there's no shame in that. Absolutely no shame. And I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you anyway, Heather, for doing that. You're doing what's right for you rather than what society thinks is right or not, and the stereotype and opinions about medication. If they help you, they help you. So there's only you left on, Heather, and we're coming up to 9 o'clock. So that is it for BecFlix. I am going to start running a topic every Friday now, because I'm not sure anybody has it. I'm either leaving it too late on a Friday, too late in the week to see if anybody has any questions, and I need to be posting this up at the start of the week to see if people want to ask specific things, or just set a topic. So I think the latter is probably going to be more helpful, having a topic. I am still going to do cosplay characters. Halloween is coming up, so expect some Halloween inspired makeup. I know, good night. Oh. Night. Yeah, so there's some Halloween, there'll be some Halloween themes coming up as well. I'll try to keep them less scary, but we're going to keep in with the season that's coming up, and I will look forward to bringing you the next BecFlix topic. So I hope something on here has been really helpful. If it has, or you've had an aha moment, or there's something that I've suggested that, no clowns please, we still need to do that, I'm going to put it in my diary. I actually have a diary now as well. Well done me. So yeah, if there has been something really useful, something that I've said during this live that you can take forward and start implementing, if there's something that I've mentioned that you didn't think of, or something that you've really found really useful, really helpful, drop it in the comments, let me know what it is. And if you have a suggestion for next week's topic, again, pop it in the comments. If you don't want to out yourself on the live, you can slide into the DMs and give me a topic suggestion there, or a question. If you would much rather remain anonymous, that's cool. And also make sure when I drop the link in, you go and have a look at the subscribing to the waitlist for the membership. So that is for anybody that suspects they have OCD, or they have an official diagnosis of OCD, that wants to join the OCD Warriors Way membership. And there is a free guided meditation there, and I've been told by many people that it has been amazing. So it's worth checking out because it's free. So free stuff's always good, just for leaving your name. So cool. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and I will see you next Friday.